Hey guys, this is ProudTech 1999, and today I'm going to show you how to make a pretty cool ring. This is what it looks like. Instead of a stone, we got a 9mm shell, and the ring itself is made out of some zinc, so you can call it a cast zinc. It doesn't really roll off the tongue though. This video is going to be split up into two parts. They'll both be about 8 minutes because long videos sometimes scare people away. So yeah, here's how to make it. So to start off, the tools that you're going to need, at least for this step, are some wax, a knife, a heat source is optional. We'll need that a little later on. And I just had two kinds of knives, one's an Echelon and one's we made in a video earlier. It's the tuna fish one. So it helps if you have a ring that already fits you, and you're basically just gonna trace the hole onto the wax. Alright, now don't worry, it shouldn't scratch up your ring unless you're trying to. So now we have what the minimum our ring needs to be, so I'm just going to trace around that to see what I need to cut off. So this is kind of what my ring is going to look like. You can't see it too well. There, you kind of can. So now we're just gonna trim everything up, and then we'll get it looking like a ring. So this is kind of what the outside of our ring is gonna look like. We'll file it up, but now I'm gonna get the center of the ring carved out. Here we go, my camera's about to die, so I'll charge it up and I'll be back with you once it's done. So now that we have our hole cut out, we're gonna need to trim up the sides. And instead of like a stone, I wanna put this bottom of a 9mm on there, and I think it should look pretty cool. You can use really anything you want. You can use like a quartz stone, really anything that'll fit onto your ring. So to clean up the wax, there's two ways. You can use a file, but it gunks up your file and you're putting a lot of pressure, which might deform the wax. It's pretty pliable. Another way is to get a blowtorch and a flat piece of metal, and basically you heat up the metal and then you just kind of move it along the side and it smooths it out. But I'm not quite to that point yet. I still need to trim everything up. So yeah, I'll finish that up, and then where did that put down? Here it is. I'm gonna make a space for the bottom of the 9mm to sit and make it to where it's kind of like on a pedestal. That's probably not the right word, but to where it looks like it's showing off the 9mm. Now I got it to the point that I like this side of it, so now I'm gonna work on the side of it. And this ring I have right here kind of tapers. It goes real skinny and then it goes real thick, so I'm gonna try to make that on here. And to do that, I'm gonna mark the middle of it with a real thin line, and then I'll carve to the middle line. Alright, I'm pretty happy with this. Now I'm just going to smooth everything out with the heated metal. The metal that I had heated up a little bit too quickly and it melted off some of the wax, but it still looks alright. Now we're going to get the 9mm on in there, and to do that I'm going to need some pliers, which I forgot, so I'll stop the tape and get back to you. So I got the 9mm in a pair of pliers. We're gonna heat it up, but you guys do not want to heat it up too much because when you put it in the ring, you don't want it to melt all the way through. So heat it up just for a couple seconds, maybe like 5 or so. Even that might be too much. This is what the ring looks like. It looks pretty cool, but the 9mm is a little high, so I'm just gonna melt some wax over it to kind of bind it together with the rest of the ring. Here's what it'll look like, except we'll replace the wax with metal. I think it looks neat. So now we need to prepare this for casting, and I've tried this. This will be my 4th time trying. None of them have been successful, but this time I'm sure will be because, well, I thought it was 3rd time the charm, but hopefully now it'll be 4th time the charm. So I learned from my 2nd attempt that you need basically passages for gases to escape. It's kind of hard to explain, but one way is, you know, when you're at a restaurant, you got a straw and a soda, and you hold one end out of the water, and then you try to put it in the water, and the soda won't go in there because there's air pressure in it. That's kind of the same principle. If you don't get it, that's fine. Just realize that you need to make these little gas passageways. And to do that, whenever I was cutting out the ring, I tried to cut them a little big and long because they're a lot easier to make. So I'm just gonna chop off a nice long piece. And that didn't work, split in 2, but we'll just use this piece of wood and we'll kind of fuse them together. Alright, we have one kind of done, and I'll make the other one off camera. We have both of our, let's just call them pipes. We have both of our pipes made, and now we need to attach them to our ring. So I'm thinking like that should work. So we're just gonna get some of this wax that we carved off earlier and try to bind it together. This is what the finished ring mold is gonna look like. And you guys do not skip out on these pipes, alright? I've tried this 3 times, and on this 4th time, I'd be willing to bet I'm gonna make it work. So, I failed, so you guys don't have to. Make sure you make these. You might not think they're important at first, but believe me, they are. So now we're gonna get our casting material ready, which is basically just concrete. And I'll talk a little about concrete once we get there. One thing I forgot that's really important in the last clip was a pouring hole. You're gonna need one in the center, and that's what you'll actually pour your metal into. And if you can see, I also put a little wire going through there, and that's to hold it up in our little mold. And the mold is just a toilet paper tube, and it's hot glued to another piece of cardboard. With the concrete, this is just some Quikrete stuff that we got from Lowe's. So my theory was that if you have it kind of watered down, it's going to be a lot finer of a solution, which means it'll mold around this a little better. But if you add too much water, it's really weak, and I've had the mold crack on me with the slightest touch 2 times. So I'm just gonna add a small amount of water at a time, and we'll see where we're at.